Welcome to the show, everybody. My name is Dean. And as always, joining me to recap, to download, to make sense of, to decode everything Trumplandia. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome back to the program. Maybe my favorite person in the whole world right now, perfectly situated. He's got people on the inside. He's got people on the outside. He's MAGA OG. He speaks Trump. Please welcome back to the show, former Giuliani associate, key figure in the Trump-Ukraine impeachment saga, and author, and now an award-winning pillar whistleblower. Please welcome Lev Parnes back to the show, everybody. Hey, buddy, how are you?
Thank you. So humble. I love you, Dean. You're incredible. Thank you, guys. No, thank you so much for having me. I mean, and love no better place to be than the Dean Bundell show. I mean, the way you bring it, the way you talk it. It's one thing to bring facts, but on a Friday, we're tired. We have so much going on. We've heard it all, and it's so gruesome and gruesome. So nobody could bring it better than Dean. We could still talk about the truth and the facts, but have a laugh or two about it.
Yeah. Well, there's lots of gruesome shit to get to. There's lots of laughing to be had. As MAGA is imploding, Trump is releasing files, and now he says that don't exist, or at least grand jury testimony around files that don't exist, after calling everybody who supported him in his bum rush to turn America into a criminal enterprise that legitimately protects other criminal enterprises. We have a news cycle he can't change, dude. Like, I have never seen this before, and we've got a lot to get to. I want to talk about the Colbert cancellation. I want to talk about MAGA's fracture. I want to talk about some of the transnational web behind the files. J.P. Morgan, big story came out. Ron Wyden put that out yesterday. He's like $1.5 billion in and out of Jeffrey Epstein's account to Russia. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. But I want to start with Colbert, because you were just on a show and you were mentioning how Donald Trump is effectively enveloping the American media ecosystem, has threatened and sued enough people to get exactly what he wants. The day after Stephen Colbert goes off on CBS, paying him bribe money, $16 million in bribe money, he gets fired the same week he wins an Emmy, having the best late night talk show in the world. I fucking, dude, we're here. This is a full-on dictatorship now.
I can't even laugh at that one. I mean, it is. I mean, we are full, and that's one of the things I talk about. I go on a lot of these shows, a lot of the Substacks, and I'm glad you're saying it, Dean, and that's why I love you for it, brother, because a lot of these places are scared to say that we're in a full-blown dictatorship. They still tell me, well, Lev, stop hate monger. I mean, stop. You're scaring people. I mean, I believe in the country. I believe that I said, dude, I believe in the country. I believe that we're all great people, but you got to call a spade a spade. You can't sugarcoat. Otherwise, we're going to be living, in a fantasy world we're never going to get out of. I mean, we are living in dictatorship. Let's take a look. I mean, just simple things. I mean, when did you ever think that an American citizen could get taken off the street by a man and just basically wearing a mask, a group of people thrown in either a concentration camp or worse, over to another country without due process, nothing. And I'm not talking about criminals. We could make excuses for immigrants, illegal immigrants, illegal. I'm talking about American citizens. I'm going to the completely out. That's happening. Okay. Where did you hear that the president of the United States just, calls up and says that if you try to report something or say the wrong way, I'm going to sue you, I'm going to shut you down, and literally go after all the major news media where we don't have no news cycle. I mean, and not only that, but also going after social media platforms. You can't go on TikTok or any of these other platforms without getting censored or something if you even talk about exactly what's being reported, like in the news. You know what I'm saying to you? But if it's, against Donald Trump. And that's the first thing, the first two things, any dictatorship or authoritarianship, if you guys, I'm not a historian buff, but I'm somebody that lived through it as a young child, living through, communism, dictatorship in the Soviet Union, fleeing it with my family here to a land to be able to have a freedom of away from them. And now I'm seeing it surface all over again.
Yeah.
Because the first thing they do, the first two things is they destroy your First Amendment speech. That's what I'm saying. The First Amendment is there's a reason why it's the First Amendment. All the amendments, they're important, and we could, argue about which one's more important to each individually. There might be ones that are more important than others, but there's a reason it's the first one, because freedom of speech is one of the most important things to fight disinformation, to be able to fight, to be able to stay aware and know informed. Because the second you lose your First Amendment, the second you lose a media being able to give you fair and honest information, that is when it becomes a cult. That is when you become brainwashed. That is when you are no longer able to make a decision for yourself, because the mind is a very powerful thing. And as if you could see five different television stations with five different reports, your mind starts making sense of all of these, what this one's saying, this one's saying this, and you start trying to find the
We're
meaning.
human. Yeah,
we're human. That's the mind. But if you take that and you take away all that and you put blinders on like they do on horses when they race, so you can't see, and the only thing you could see, like I used to see, as Fox News or right-wing propaganda. And every day from morning to night, you don't see the other side. You don't see any other thing. Eventually, your mind starts believing that's true and starts forcing that on you, that you believe that that's the real thing.
yeah.
And that's how that cult mentality starts. So the First Amendment information, going after Colbert, going after ABC, going after CBS, going after my son Aaron Parnes, the Midas Touch, us, going after platforms here. I mean, that is the first step of authoritarian. And then it's your financial systems, folks. Keep an eye on it. I know we haven't felt it yet. The market is up. People thinking, oh, everything's lottie-dottie. This tariffs, all of this he's doing, it takes a time period for it to kick into effect. Even today, just now, recently, he's now attacking Walmart because Walmart, don't you dare.
Did you see that?
He said,
Did you see?
"Don't you dare! Don't you dare put make your people pay more money for prices because of my tariffs. You and China need to eat that." He goes,
Yeah.
"You and China need to eat my tariffs. Don't you dare!" And I'll be watching. So now, just think about. The president of the United States telling a company. Yeah, so here you're a grocer now. Let's forget about Walmart. Here you are. You're a grocer, and you are trying to make a living. And now apples that you're selling are, because of Trump, went up $1, let's just say. I mean, and now you can't charge that dollar up. You have to eat it because Donald Trump said it. Because God forbid, you might go to prison now, because it's Pam Bondi will come on and say, you're price gouging or some, crazy shit like that. So that is what is happening. The two things, because once he breaks those two institutions, like for instance, your financial, when people start worrying about what they're going to eat, how they're going to survive, they stop caring about mostly all the other rights that we have God given to us, because it's like flight or flight. The first thing our bodies and mentally is survival. So the first thing we want to do is we care about how we're going to eat, how we're going to live, and we stop caring about who can vote, who can't vote. We'll get to that afterwards. So that's why that's why the two things that he's trying to destroy right in front of our eyes, which I keep talking about.
Media, financial, freedom of speech, and financial institutions. Yeah.
Exactly. Those are,
Yeah.
and then everything else, already are, due process, and habeas corpus, and you could go down the line of all the other things that are going on, and they're all equally as bad, but those two things is the pretense of basically taking over the whole country and not hitting individual groups. Because once you take away people's money and you take away people's right to be able to hear different things and understanding, then you have them where you want them.
You're front and center for all this stuff. I mean, you rode shotgun with Donald Trump. You ran interference, and Donald Trump, the Ukraine laptop from hell. That's you, Donald Trump. You've turned into a whistleblower. I mean, if anybody has ever seen your documentary with Maddow, from Russia with Lev, to Russia from Lev. Sorry, it is remarkable watching you kind of decode some of this stuff, right? It's incredible watching you kind of step out and go, no, 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 don't get lost in the distraction of, a new tariff that's bullshit. Don't get lost in the distraction of what's going on with Donald Trump. Anytime he tries to change a channel, whether it's, Epstein files are coming out, bomb Iran. Or, because it's really what it is, right? I mean, this is what he does. This is wag the dog.
100%.
But you're on the inside of these things, and as someone that's seen Trump's tactics up close, um, is he just willing to always weaponize litigation for intimidation for the purposes of staying as far away from having to be, a legitimate human being or president? Like this guy, the CBS thing is mind blowing to me as someone that comes from media, right? Is when the president of the United States can sue a media company, can litigate a media company into fealty, into paying him off, into firing the number one fucking late night talk show host, Stephen Colbert, in the country. I find that to be one of those things that, it's not the authoritarian creep. I find it to be a real fucking like marker when it comes to the steps authoritarians take to be able to turn their citizens into authoritarian loving assholes, because that's what we're kind of seeing today.
Well, just even think about it. He went a step further by today. I mean, again, what is worse? It's just as bad, but it's part of the open, in your face, what I'm doing. What he did with Rupert Murdoch today by literally first he threatened him. He said, "You're about to release something that, and if you release it, I'm going to go after you. And, don't you dare. It's fake." And then after it was released, he said, "Now I'm going to kick your ass. I'm going to go after. I'm going to sue you." You have to understand, Donald Trump, like each mobster, each criminal has their weapon of choice, their, like intimidation of choice. Some people would, intimidate you. They would come in there and rough you up, beat you up, and then speak to you. Some would first threaten you and then speak to you. Some would burn your store down and say to you, "Now, do you want me to come help you?" I mean, it's all different tactics. It's all bad.
Sure.
It's all.
Yeah, yeah.
Donald Trump was a wannabe mobster all the time. He grew up around mobsters. But see, Donald Trump was a rich kid that he wasn't going to go in the streets and rough somebody out. So his choice of ammunition was always lawyers, weaponization of lawyers.
Yeah,
And
litigation. Yeah.
through litigation and through his whole career, and that's what he would do, starting from even the little, people that, he would contract contractors to do jobs. He would take on contractors, sign a deal with them, and then sue, not pay them.
Yeah.
And then he would take them to court and bleed them dry because most of them couldn't afford even, they were right, but the legal costs to fight it, and they would have to settle 10, 20 cents on the dollar.
Mhm.
If he would ever be, somebody would say a bad word about him or something, he would have 20 different law firms, defamation, so he would use the money that he had and the power of the legal system to be able to shut. And now he's doing the same thing.
Yeah.
Just as the president. I mean, he's doing the same exact thing, just on a much higher and much more powerful level. But here it's a little bit different. See, because here it's not just going out there and suing them, because we know all these cases, the defamation cases that are being settled, all of them would probably, if not 99.9999, 100% would be won. Donald Trump would not win these cases. It's the intimidation that stands behind him of the DOJ, the FBI, and also some of the corporate mergers and deal making that is taking place behind that needs Donald Trump's approval
Yeah.
to happen. So Donald Trump understands that. He understands that that's being a bully. So that's his weapon in the background, but he's not going to do it. How does he get rewarded? Because with Donald Trump, it's always back to valid. What's it called? The money. It's all about what is he? He's a transactional type of guy. So
Yeah.
if he just goes and puts Rupert Murdoch and shuts him down or arrests him or does something, doesn't do anything for him. But he threatens, he tells him, okay, like, or CBS or his ABC says, listen, if you don't get rid of Colbert, this is what's going to happen to you. This is how the power of the DOJ is going to come down on you. But so you could just pay up and we'll leave it alone. Real mob tactic. So now he's collecting this. This is how Donald Trump, just so you understand, folks, is collecting money for his library because he you know, he,
Donald Trump. I mean, the idea that Donald Trump is creating his own library and he can't fucking read and he's illiterate. I mean,
this is his library fund. That his own. I mean, just right now that you just said that I did, but the defense that all of his even the mega cohorts that are left defending him with this letter now,
yeah.
are saying that that's Donald Trump. He doesn't write. He doesn't type. He doesn't.
Well, dude, did you listen to that Michael Wolff?
Read.
Did you listen to the snippet from Michael Wolff, his interview with Epstein? I've literally poured over Michael Wolff's stuff. A bit of an opportunist, but at the same time, I mean, he's right. He knows. I mean, he's seen the pictures. He's talked to everybody. He's a biographer. He's going to put out the Epstein.
I haven't had a chance to, but I have some time. I've been so busy with my own shit.
I know.
Stuff, but
I know. But dude, Epstein, in one of the interviews, he's like, can Donald Trump read? And he's like, no, he's functionally fucking illiterate. Like, he doesn't know, and he can't read a spreadsheet. Not only can he not read, so when we talk about the embezzlement of money or the the theft or the extortion of companies like CBS and the and mainstream media for his own library, I can't help but fucking laugh. I don't know why. It's just too good.
But that's the crazy part. I mean, like, that's where the money's going. They're all donating whatever 15 million, everything to the the Qatari airplanes going to his library. I mean, it's just like
that's gonna have to be a big fucking library left. Like,
I'm curious where they're going to be. I'm curious which state they're going to put this
library. It'll be in Florida, as you know. And
I still have faith. I swear to you, I have faith. And I'm hoping and praying yesterday. And by the way, on that note, I want to do a shout out to all of you that came out and caused some good trouble yesterday. Yesterday was, Good Trouble Day, July 17th. It was the 5th year anniversary of Congressman Lewis. I actually spoke at a roundtable. I took it Substack Live. Those of you got a chance to watch it. And
yeah, it was awesome.
We caused a little good trouble. So, you know what I'm saying to you? It's always good. It's definitely shout out to all of you that out there when protest. We gotta keep our word up. We gotta keep our mouths loud. We gotta keep talking. And right now we have a little over 800 people here. Smash those hearts. Take that little box. Michael Cohen. He likes. I love when he talks about that little box with the arrow. He goes, just send it to everybody. That's right. We need to build. We need to strengthen, because the only way we will succeed in taking out this monster. When I say taking him out, you have to be very careful what you say. All properly, through either, impeachment or through legal elections. We definitely need, is the only way we're going to be able to save our democracy. So shout out to all of you that came out, that did what you could yesterday on, what's it called? Make Some Good Trouble Day.
Yeah, dude, you were great yesterday. And not just, Zev and I were talking about you in the podcast the other day. We do the 5 stack every day, not today, but generally speaking, we do it every day. And before the podcast, he was like, you know what? I had Lev wrong. That is the most authentic individual I have ever met and had the pleasure of interviewing and doing business with. I would encourage all of my subscribers and anybody watching this to continually follow, subscribe, interact with Lev, because he's one of the very few people that is blowing his whistle for the right reasons. And he's one of even fewer people to be on the inside of the cult. And I want to get to parts of that because MAGA is imploding. I don't know if you saw Nick Fuentes' his whole thing where he's like, we need to start hanging Republicans and fuck Donald Trump. Donald Trump put out a tweet the other day. He's like, you guys are weaklings. You guys suck. I fucking hate you. You're stupid. And he's clearly obfuscating. He's clearly lying. I mean, we don't need to prove that out, because he proves that out every time he has a fucking seizure over anybody having anything to do with the Epstein files, right? But you speak MAGA, you down of the cult. You were in and now you're out. You know all the trigger words. What are you hearing from inside the cult? What are you hearing from people in the White House that are deathly afraid of MAGA turning on Trump? Because I'll tell you something, MAGA fucking turned on Trump, and the maggots that didn't, the ones who haven't, seem to have a financial arrangement with Donald Trump. But I want to download that, because that's the biggest threat to Donald Trump today.
100%. You couldn't have said it better, Dean. And here, I'm going to break it down to you guys what's going on. So, Donald Trump, inside, he's raging. He's insulting, calling him. You gotta understand. Donald Trump has other ideas that he's planning on staying in office forever. We've spoken about this. First about 2028, but even in 2026, what I talk about every single day, write about all the time, is what's called election reform. It's a part of Project 2025, led by Stephen Miller, Russell Vought, that is to basically take away our rights to be able to have a fair and square election. That is what he's working on right now. That is why people inside, like Stephen Miller and like Susie Wiles, understand that he needs to contain his mega base to be able to pull off some of the next steps, some of the most drastic ones that he's going to try to implement to be able to push some of these election reforms. And because of the cracks, not only in the mega base, but also you're having him in Congress and Senate, which started by pushing the big bill, by pushing his big ugly bill. He already started getting cracks inside of Congress and Senate because people started taking a hit. Now, because of this break, there's a major push. But we also have to be very careful. And this is because I'm in all of these mega rooms, I speak all of them, and till this day, as crazy as it seems, they allow me to speak, and they listen to me even a little bit because they relate, they understand I was there. They don't look at me right away as a left-leaning Democrat that's coming in to just argue with them. And for those of you that have been on some of these spaces with me and see how I argue with them or debate with them, you see and you understand that most Democrats are not even allowed into these rooms, wouldn't even been given a chance to talk. And when I am given a chance to talk, I'm usually leave those rooms with several of these mega people that decide call me or DM me and say, you know what, Lev, after speaking or hearing or listening to you, you're making sense. And this was before the Epstein situation came about. That is why right now I'm hearing two different mixtures. Yes, everybody hates him, but I'm scared that even what happened with this letter, the way Trump right away started saying, you see, this is the deep state, this is not me, I don't write this way. It reminded me of the P tape. When during the first, when he just got elected, during the Mueller investigation, during all the Russian stuff, that all of a sudden the P tape came out and everybody jumped on that, the media and everything, when there was so much actual evidence and facts about his collusion with Russia and what he was doing. It got all distracted and gave him a win, where that's when the base turned, because I was part of it, and said, oh, it's the deep state. Look, there's no P tape, and you guys are now pushing it.
Is that a strategy in Trump world, Lev? Yes. It's like blame everything on the deep state, call it all a hoax, turn it around and put it all on Democrats. But it's within the House, like it's within him. It's all projection. Yeah,
correct. And that's why he lost that until today a little bit. Today a little bit, I started seeing some of those people that have been talking for the past week about Trump, hate Trump, Trump, that all of a sudden, hey, maybe, Trump wouldn't put a letter out like this. Maybe it is the deep state, what's it called? So we have to be very careful on the messaging, and we have to be careful who the messengers are. You can't go in there and right away expect some of these left-wing pundits to go in to right-wing spaces or right-wing, mega places and attract them and to have them vote, because at the end of the day, it turns into an argument and it pushes him back and says, you know what, I rather vote just to vote against you. I'm going to vote for Donald Trump. And that's what then it becomes. And that's why one of my strategy that I'm implementing right now is I'm going to be going to Washington, and I ask each and every one of you out there that make the phone calls, that write the letters, the emails to your congressmen and senators, is we need to act, and we need to act quickly. We have an incredible opportunity right now. The opportunity is the mega's cracking, but we need to take charge. We can't have the media run it, because the media is going to give Donald Trump a win and give mega something to hang on to be able to blame the deep state. They're going to run with some crazy story that makes no sense, because all they're doing are chasing headlines. They're not
Like
staying on the
Adam
fact.
Schiff's mortgage fraud allegation and Coke
Exactly.
using cane sugar instead of fructose.
Exactly. Exactly. Thank you, Dean. That's exactly. Like, so that's what I'm saying. I always say, keep your eye on the ball. Next week, I'm going to be in Washington, D.C. I'm going to be meeting, hopefully, with some congressmen and senators and talking about the plan. But the plan is to implement and take people like myself. And there's others out there like Michael Cohen and others that have been inside of MAGA and Trump, and need to use us as to go into these places, because we could talk to them and be able to start deprogramming these people, start getting them out of there, because we have a year until the midterms. And the most important thing, what people don't understand, is most of these people are never going to vote Democrat. But that's okay, because a no vote for Donald Trump is just as a good vote for the Democrats. Because, and that's what the strategy should be. We shouldn't be worried too much about right now having people switch over parties and call themselves Democrats or independent. It's okay. If we could get enough of the mega base to not come out and vote and protest against Donald Trump because of what he's doing with the Epstein files, it's okay that they don't go. Joe Walsh is a great one. I just saw Joe Walsh is my buddy. Definitely is.
He's awesome. I love Joe Walsh.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He's another one. Joe, Olivia Troy is another one. These are all my friends, my people that are part of that the Democrats should be using, implementing, that we should be on tour going into say, because we are one of them. We have, at some point in our conversation, we could all relate and say, yeah, that's why we understand each other. They can't do that. That's what, instead of trying to break the mold where the Democrats are trying to, and when I say Democrats, I always want to make it clear. It's not you guys. It's not you, the supporters of people. I'm talking about the leadership. I'm talking about the people that have your money, the money you donate, all these millions and billions of dollars that they collect and they have sitting there. What's it called? That's what needs to be done right now. Right now, we should be making ads. We should be making ads with all of us ex-Trumpers like MAGA to coming out talking about how we Epstein and all of this, how they pushed it on us, how we got out of it before the cult before Donald Trump does to you what he did to us. And each and every one of us has a story. I have my story. Joe Walsh has his story. Olivia Trey has hers. Michael Cole, and use that. We have so much ammunition that the Democrat leadership is not using at a time right now where it'll be too late to try to do it a year from now, right before the midterms, because by then they'll all forget, and Donald Trump will give them a reason to hate the deep state and hate the Democrats long enough, and he knows it. They'll just vote for him, not because they will trust him, not because they will love him, but they will do it because they will be so complicit and scared to give power away back to the other side because of all the shit that they have already done and they're all complicit in, that it will be one of those things, well, what's worse to yourself, and we will go down the train. So that's why we don't want to get into that situation. We could pierce some of these votes away. And like I said, some of them might even vote Democrat, independent, and just throw their vote. But even if we get them not to vote, that's a tremendous win. And that's why it's important for each and every one of you, write your letters, call your congressman, the names, Lev Parnes, Olivia Troy, and they go on and
Fucking
on.
Mike Pence.
Mike, exactly. Right. And you know the name, and let them, what's it called? And we need to start some sort, because it's all at the end of the day. I'm going to, one thing about me is I don't bullshit you guys. I'm going to
Never.
tell you what it is. The only thing that's stopping me from doing any of this shit I'm talking about to try is finances, because they have all the money, they have all the corporate leader, they have all the, Peter Thiel's, Elon Musk, guys that are willing to write check. And on the Democratic side, Miles Taylor, absolutely. On the Democratic side, we have zero, guys. We have you. We have you. If it wasn't for each and every one of you, we wouldn't even be able to be here. For all of you that are paid subscribers, all of you that contribute, buy the book, do whatever you can to be able to allow us to do what we do right now to here. But it takes a lot more money and a lot more what's it called, coordination, and people to be able to go on and go to 50 states, to go into these counties, from putting it on to booking it to flights to security. I mean, there's so much that are involved to doing it, and they have all of this. They have the machine. The Democrats have the machine. They just won't use it on people like us for some reason. They'll go use it. They'll Bernie Sanders. And again, I know a lot of you guys love AOC, Bernie Sanders, and I'm not riffing on them. I'm not saying that they're better, but instead of spending money on private jets and flying and getting 35,000 Democrats, 35,000 Democrats, hardcore Democrats.
Yeah, lean into the fucking other side, people. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying to you. Take that money and let's go into some all over Florida. Let's go all over, let's take Florida back. Florida at one point was purple. We was not a hardcore red state like it is right now. Let's go Georgia at one point. Look, we had Ossoff when we had, two Senate races, that we won, that nobody thought we could win. And now all of a sudden there are places out there, and I'm not even talking about Pennsylvania, Michigan, or, I'm saying Wisconsin and all of those. I'm talking about, this is where we should be going, where there are people out there that, don't watch the social medias all day long. They're not in tune all of what's going on. They read the headlines. And when they see a guy like me, or a guy or somebody like Olivia Troy, or somebody like a Miles, somebody that's been in there, lived there, and they could talk to him, ask the question, they could relate, because they're also on there. They understand. That's why, when you go to drug counseling, you don't have people there as a drug counselor that's 99% of them have been drug addicts at some point of their life. Because otherwise you can't relate. He can't sit there and tell you how is he going to feel, how is he going to go. How can you trust him about getting off drugs if he himself has never been on it? He read a book on it? You're not. And that's why it's, sometimes you have to go through the pain, through the suffering, to be able to come out the other side, to be able to get, to save and do good. And that's why I think where the Democrats, they screwed up the first time in the first impeachment by not calling, me and others as witnesses. They messed up, in the election right now in 2024, by not using what the power.
Yeah, they've got this fucked up purity circle around the Democratic Party, right? Where it's like, no, we're not going to lean into, whistleblowers like Lev, people that have receipts, people who are being in those rooms, because we're just better than that. And it was the problem that the Liberal Party of Canada had for a long time, too. I'm in Canada. You're in the United States of America. It's this elitist attitude that says we're better than you, we're smarter than you. And generally, unfortunately, the smarter part might be true when it comes to progressives. But I can tell you this, that it doesn't do anybody any favors. And listen, the Democratic Party doesn't just need a win. They got to remake their party. They have to remake it on the backs of people that have been destroyed by, consumed by, abused by Donald Trump and MAGA. And for some reason, they refuse to do it. They refuse to do it. And it drives me crazy, because there are only two alternatives, kind of like here in Canada. You got the Conservative Party or the Liberal Party. And they're unwilling to go into those corners, unwilling to muck it up, unwilling to go and have conversations with people like you and put people like you on a pedestal, because for some reason, the brain trust around the Democratic Party truly believes that if they engage with anybody like you, like me, like Joe Walsh, like anybody else from those, it's not going to be great for ratings, or it's not going to be, and that's the case for MSM. But it's also like, well, we it just makes us feel dirty. Well, you fucking keep losing to a rapist felon. Like,
Yeah, yeah. It's and it's you said it right on the dot. And it's like it's like they feel they're better. I mean, and when they're supposed to be for the people. And at the end of the day, again, they have the money, they have the organization, they have it. And instead of right now, they should be putting together ads with people ex mega, all of ex mega, that are, talk about how big this Epstein, and to be able to prepare for and start running it even sooner for the 2026. They're
like
going
a
to
whole
come out.
series of cult de-radicalization around MAGA. You
Yeah,
could do
no,
it.
you know what?
Yeah.
You know what they're going to do? They're going to use clips from CNN and MSNBC, which nobody's going to watch. They're going to watch. They're going to put together these messages with clips from CNN and CNBC with their own, or messages from other congressmen and senators, their own. You know what I'm saying? To put together these messages, and nobody watches it.
Yeah.
Nobody, especially on the right, especially on the independent. You lost that crowd. But if you put somebody controversial on there like myself, and and I don't care. I don't need yeah, I don't need to go. Trust me, I don't want to put a target on my back with Donald Trump. I'd rather, if I had a choice, say, and our democracy was safe right now, I'd rather be living quietly, and not going through this, putting my family through it. My
In
own son
Canada? In Canada, right?
in
Yeah.
Canada.
Yeah, boy.
My own son is on the front line. I mean,
Yeah.
Aaron, you guys know him here, and he's constantly getting targeted. So this ain't just me. My whole family's put involved in trying to, get this save our demand. That's what I'm saying to you. It's really crazy to watch how the Democrats won't, the Democratic leadership won't just, they're out there, they talk, they'll promote each other, they'll talk about, but nobody
Sell each
wants to
other's
listen. Nobody
books.
wants to
Yeah.
listen to them. Nobody
Yeah.
nobody cares about what, you guys might love Eric Swalwell and all these guys, but nobody cares what Eric Swalwell has to say. Except for the people, I'm going to say to you, the people that listen to Eric Swalwell are the people they're going to vote for Democrats anyway.
Yeah.
Anybody that even for a second thinks that they might not vote for Democratic policy, they're not listening to Eric Swalwell. And the second Eric Swalwell comes on the television, they turn the television off. And I'm not trying to be mean to Eric Swalwell. I'm telling
No,
you,
it's just, but dude, it's the
that's
same
just
thing. It's the same, like, information silo thing that a lot of liberals live in, right? Where they're like, I'm just not going to watch Fox News, or I'm not going to listen to Donald Trump, or and then you have absolutely circumcised your ability to have an informed decision, or be able to fucking push back or affect change. To your
thank you.
point.
Just like even yesterday. Yesterday we were at the town at our town hall that we had for Good Trouble, and our round table. We were talking about, how come in Florida we're not going, and we're at some other, try to flip some of these other congressional seats, red seats, blue. And I couldn't stand it. I had to tell the truth. I said, listen, because the Democratic Party in Florida here is scared shitless. They won't spend the money because when I got a phone call from some very powerful people and said to me, Lev, we would like you to run for the congressional seat in Miami for Salvazar's seat, and would you consider it? And I said to myself for a second, it would be crazy, but I started calling my son, my lawyers, thinking maybe, maybe it's the right thing to do. But when I spoke to one of my lawyers, he said, he made some phone calls to the Democratic Party. He goes, they're not going to support you. They're not going to give you any money. They're not gonna be behind you. Like, so why do you need to do it? Just to put a target on your back to go out there and be a lone wolf on your side? They're not. And I said, why?
It put your
He said,
family through all that bullshit again.
right.
Yeah. Yeah.
I said to him, I said, why? Because I'm not going to expose any names. I will eventually, once this is all, once we get our democracy back. Trust me, there's a lot of people that are going to have to pay the piper for a lot of shit that they keep doing. It doesn't matter what side they're on. But what I'm saying to you is, I said to him, why won't they support me? I mean, I will stir up up so much shit. So I will be able to get so much free publicity like Donald Trump did, because there's nobody in Florida, in his backyard, DeSantis, Trump, there's nobody that could stir. I said, what? They go, well, because she's a Spanish speaking, and South Miami is more, Latin.
She's a Cuban immigrant, right?
Yeah, I think so. And basically gave me some bullshit, said, we have probably no chance. Like, we're not going to put the money behind it. I said, are you stupid? I said, if you think that way, you're never going to win any seat. I said, yeah, okay, we might not win, but I might hurt her in the race. And then the next race, we might win. You have to have change. You have to be, where's all this? Well, I'm trying to understand, where's all this money going to? All these billions and billions of dollars. This is the bullshit that gets me so angry, D. They spend billions and billions of dollars to throw victory parties to show the public to go to hardcore Democrat state like New York or Los Angeles or California, and they get 100,000 people there, and they'll spend tens of millions of dollars, and they'll bring in Beyonce and all of this, and they'll put on a show. But none of these people are from anybody. They're pulling from any other party or anything. These are their hardcore. It's like throwing all this money to basically their own people. It's not. I don't understand the benefit. How this benefiting you by bringing more votes in and registering more people. Take that money and go use it in states where you can get more votes. Stop throwing these, just to show, because it's like, what, they collected $10 billion from all these voters, so they need to show you how they spent the money. So they throw on this national, 35,000 people in one place, 35,000 people in another place, and the poor voters are thinking, oh my God, look at this. But it's the same people. It's the same votes. It's the same vote. Meanwhile, the Republicans are going in and all over. They're in Pennsylvania hitting him hard. They're in Wisconsin hitting him hard. Elon spending money in Michigan, and that's why. What was the result? He barely won, but he won.
Yeah. Yeah, and dude, to your point, curating messages for the Latino community, saying, Kamala Harris, hates you. They went into those Democratic circles and chat rooms, and they won, right? They won, but they did it with a lie. They did it with projection, and we're seeing the end result of that projection. And one of the things that I really, I woke up this morning and I'm like, the Wall Street Journal, huh? Right? Like the old projection funnels that these maggots used to use and Donald Trump used to use. And I want to get to this because this letter that Donald Trump allegedly sent to Jeffrey Epstein, that the Wall Street Journal published a portion of, saying that they have the letter. And listen, I'm gonna explain something to people. This letter is driving Donald Trump fucking insane. We mentioned it earlier in the whole thing. He's like, I'm gonna sue Rupert Murdoch, and I'm like, fuck, Rupert Murdoch is one of your greatest benefactors, dude. Like, this is.
Can I read to the audience Donald Trump's Truth Social to Rupert Murdoch? Can I read it?
Please, yeah.
And I'll read the letter to you guys, or you could.
Well, let me just. I'll set the scene. Wall Street Journal a couple of days ago contacted the White House, said they were in receipt of a birthday note letter that Donald Trump sent to Jeffrey Epstein for his 50th that included a picture of a naked lady, that included a bunch of references to secret things that these guys all fucking know. And the Wall Street Journal and Rupert Murdoch, they're not going to fucking put this out if they don't know that it is a bulletproof, absolutely verified, chained letter that they can attach to Donald Trump in every way, shape, or form. And to that point, this is an opening salvo letter. And let me just read the letter real quick, or the most damning parts of the letter. Then you can get to Donald Trump's whole thing. Donald Trump said, yes, I won't tell you what the secret is. Jeffrey, nor will I, since I also know what it is. We have certain things in common, Jeffrey. Yes, we do, come to think of it. Enigmas never age. Have you noticed that? As a matter of fact, it was clear to me the last time I saw you. And then Trump says, as a pal is a wonderful thing. Happy birthday. And may every day be another wonderful secret, where he signed his name on the pubic hair of a drawing of a naked lady. That is fucking for Jeffrey Epstein's 50th. And to that point, the Wall Street Journal not only is standing on this, and not only did Rupert Murdoch and the editor of the Wall Street Journal say, yeah, you can put that out, because they have a treasure trove of other information. So let's get to the true social tweet, and then what you're hearing from the inside, not only about the panic in Trumplandia in ridiculousness, but I want to know what you know about what the Wall Street Journal has, because it sure sounds like it's gonna come out.
So yeah, so I mean, because guys, I mean, this is Rupert Murdoch, this is Fox, this is I mean, out of all of them, this is Donald Trump's guy, and Donald Trump wrote a Truth Social. So let me read it, and then we'll go into it, because I gotta read his own words for you guys to understand. Then I'll break it down and tell you what he means by what, because what
You speak
writes.
MAGA.
It's not everything he means.
Hi. Okay, I'm ready. I wish I had
All
some
right, you
classical music to play behind you. Yeah, but anyway, go ahead. Yeah,
All right, you
please.
fight it with the violin.
There you go. The little violin going.
Okay. Donald Trump, here we go. The Wall Street Journal and Rupert Murdoch personally were warned directly by President Donald J. Trump. So he's now talking about himself in the third person. And in this tweet, which he says he never does, but he's doing.
To combat files that don't exist, by the way. Continue.
He says, I never talk in the third person, but here, the Wall Street Journal, Rupert personally were warned directly by President Donald J. Trump that the supposed letter they printed by President Trump to Epstein was fake, and if they print it, they will be sued. Mr. Murdoch stated that he would take care of it, but obviously did not have the power to do so. So Donald Trump is saying that Rupert Murdoch said, "Oh, Donald, I'm gonna shut this up. I'm gonna do what the Inquirer did. I'm gonna bury the evidence.
Catch
Donald.
it, kill it. Yeah, I'll do it.
We're gonna kill it. But there's a but. He did not have the power to do so. The editor of the Wall Street Journal, Emma Tucker, he goes out and doxes a person, and this is part of Trump's intimidation. Because now once he put her name out there, the mega base, the wolves, it's like throwing red meat to the wolves. They all now got it. Now social media, Laura Loomer, they're digging into every single thing, her personal life, who she's known, who she's ever donated, who she's ever slept with, who she's ever argued with. Now this.
Oh yeah, guilt by association is like a strategy, right? Guilt by association is the whole fucking thing. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
And guys, this is the president of the United States.
Who, if you're going to apply that guilt by association moniker to Donald Trump as a strategy, guilt by association with thousands of pictures of Jeffrey Epstein seem to indicate he's guilty as fuck by his own MO. Anyway, continue. Sorry.
Yeah, he doesn't know me either. He doesn't know. So he doesn't know. His memory's going. He doesn't know if he put Powell in either. So you gotta.
Oh yeah, did you see that this last week? He's like, whoever appointed him's a fucking idiot, and someone's like, that was you, and he's like, let's move on.
Let's move on. So I feel bad. I mean, we're laughing, but this should be criminal. What for the president of the United States to dox a person in this way should be criminal, because there's plenty of people out there that he's done it to that could tell you it destroys their life, and it no bueno. So anyway, okay. Emma Tucker was told directly. Watch it. Oh, she was told directly by Carolyn Levin and by President Trump that the letter was fake. So now the press secretary and the president directly called the editor and told her, "Don't you dare write this letter because I said it's fake." And Emma's sitting there saying, "But Mr. President, I have the letter. I see the letter. It's authenticated. I know this is how I got it's your letter." "No, but that's not my letter." "Don't write it. That's not my no, but it's your letter, Mr. President. We know it's your letter. We're gonna write the letter. Caroline, tell her it's not my letter. Tell her it's not my letter." So she was told it's not his letter. She still wrote it. Anyway, keep going. But Emma Tucker didn't want to hear that. Instead, they're going with a false, malicious, and defamatory story anyway. President Trump will be suing the Wall Street Journal, News Corp, and Mr. Murdoch shortly. The press has to learn to be truthful and not to rely on sources that don't even exist. So I don't even I don't even know. I mean, like, truthful and truthful. I mean, basically, don't bring my dirty laundry up so Melania doesn't have to ask me about any more perverted sexual stuff that I did, because now Melania just forgot about Stormy Daniels, and now you're bringing up Jeffrey Epstein again. Come on,
Yeah.
guys.
Yeah.
All right.
Leave me alone.
Leave me
Leave
alone.
me, leave me alone.
Leave me
Leave me
alone.
alone. You're killing me.
Let me dictate. Let me dictate. Let me be a dictator. Let me come on. Let me, look, I raised your taxes. I took away their taxes. I took away your Medicaid. I'm throwing you in jail. Leave me alone. Let me do my
Yeah.
thing.
Let me ask you a question. You obviously, being a Trump associate and knowing him as well as you did, and knowing the inner workings of MAGA, and knowing how the media ecosystem works. How would a Rupert Murdoch owned entity publishing a letter that Donald Trump sent to Jeffrey Epstein about a little secret that they had? What would be the impetus in your mind? You know how these people work. You know how the oligarchy works around him.
Well, this is a big telltale, because let me tell you a little story that a lot of you don't know that I'm going
Oh,
to
story time with Lev. We get a little snippet of
give.
story time with Lev.
We
All
get a little
right.
story time with Lev.
All right.
So the fact that Rupert Murdoch put this out, especially after Trump called, and they had obviously conversations not to put it out, and it still came out, it's a big tell that the shift has changed, starting to the people are starting to shift. Because Rupert Murdoch was one of his most loyal. Yes, they didn't agree on a lot of stuff. They went back and forth like all people do. But one of his most loyal when it came to propaganda from the New York Post, Wall Street Journal.
Well, it's fucking
uh,
Trump state media, dude. Yeah.
Correct. Thank
Yeah.
you. To the point that when I was arrested, prior to my arrest, primarily most of my reporting. I mean, I was a translator on but it was the stuff, the disinformation that we were pushing, that I was involved with pushing, went directly through Fox News, through John Solomon, which just came up back. John Solomon now came into the mix to try to, fix Trump's, understanding, and telling him he should call a special counselor. He's not. That's another story. But
Yeah, by the way, just a quick aside. Did you see someone asked him after he signed that fentanyl bill we can all get behind, by the way, where they're like, hey, people are talking about you getting a special counsel for the Epstein file. Any thoughts? And he's like, I don't know what you're talking about. And he literally fucking ran out of the room. Anyway, continue. Sorry. Yes, John Solomon.
and John Solomon, meanwhile, is going all over Bannon saying, I spoke to the president and he wants a special counsel. Totally opposite.
Yeah.
So, I was part of that whole mega, all of these. What were we even talking about?
We were talking. We were. You do a lot of Substack lives. We were talking about Rupert Murdoch's impetus.
Sorry, I was telling you the story. Yeah. So anyway, because of my relationship to Fox, and because the day when I got arrested, I was flying to Vienna. On that flight with me was supposed to be Rudy Giuliani, Victoria Tunzi, I call them the President Putzes. They were all his attorneys, and me. And we were going to Vienna because we were doing an interview with the ex-prosecutor of Ukraine, Viktor Shokin. And who was doing the interview? It was going to be Fox Hannity. It was going to be a primetime special with Rudy Giuliani in Vienna, with the CFO of Burisma. It was supposed to be this whole big blockbuster thing, and Fox was in the middle of all of it. The night before, we actually met in Fox studios in Washington, D.C., where we were given a conference room to sit and strategize all of this going on. Fast forward the story, they cancel all at the last moment to go on the flight with me. I get arrested. I get thrown in jail. But what's curious that comes out that day, that a lot of people, the media didn't pick up. It was written in the media, but it was just like nobody talks about it. And if you guys are curious, I'll find it for you and I'll post it. I'll do a letter about it. Is that the day of my arrest, Bill Barr did something very unique. He's never done prior to that, and he's never did it after that. He visited the Southern District of New York to oversee the arrest on me and my partner Igor. And after my arrest, he congratulated the line of Southern District of New York for a great takedown. Great job, well done. And right after that, guess who he went to have dinner with?
Who?
Rupert Murdoch.
Man, you know so much shit. You've been in those rooms. Lev Parnes, everybody go subscribe to his Substack right now. Storytime with Lev. Lev remembers, some paid features, some not, mostly free. His reporting is incredible. Explain how that funnel, real quick, of disinformation went from the White House and Donald Trump and continues to go from the White House and Donald Trump, and not just because, let's tie it back to Epstein, not just to Fox, but to these MAGA proxies that are literally flipping from where are the Epstein files, like Tim Pool, Charlie Kirk, Dinesh D'Souza, fucking Alan Dershowitz of all people. He's like, I know where the files are. Remember that? He's like, I know where the files are. Everybody's like, I know it. And then the next day he's like, he's on with Cuomo and he's like, I didn't see anything. But explain, I know, explain how they use it and who they're paying for that. Like, or is this just this? This is not Johnny come lately. Yeah, go
Oh,
go
this
for
is
it.
straight, like, you wouldn't even believe this is like mobsters 101. I mean, Donald Trump literally speaks to them individually. They have his cell phone. Like, he called Charlie Kirk. I told Charlie Kirk that if you don't shut the hell up, you're gonna have big problems. Charlie Kirk came out and said, you know what? I believe my friends in the White House, they're gonna do the right thing. I'm done talking about this Epstein thing. That day, literally within an hour, he gets rationed on his own. First time people start destroying Charlie Kirk. Next morning, Charlie Kirk comes out. He goes, "People, did you misunderstand me? I said I was done for that night. I was done for the night. I could, of course, I want to know where the Epstein files are. I was done for the night.
I just meant today.
And I like Alex Jones. Alex Jones, literally, dude. Like, I don't know. I gotta give him. He needs to get some sort of award, because I mean, the emotional, the Alex, like,
Oh, the acting. Yeah,
the acting, like the
it's
crying,
incredible.
the
Yeah,
tears, the tears, like the Armageddon.
I don't know.
Like,
I feel like I've been fucked over.
I get my leader, like, but I still love you. But we still love you. God still told us you're still our leader, the right man at the right time. You're being attacked by demons. There are demons around Donald Trump right now. They're making him do the work of the deep state. This is the shit they're talking about. I swear to you. They're
Oh, fuck.
literally talking about, they're trying to figure out anything. They're already talking about that it's now because he gave arms to Ukraine. They're such idiots. They don't even understand he gave them that because he flipped on Putin. So now they're saying it's the Russians that have compromised. Because they did business, so now they're telling you can't make this shit up, dude.
It is. You know what, dude? It's funny because when I talk to you, we we always start with the best of serious intentions, and then we devolve into, and I think it's because, and there are a lot of people, there's about 1,000 people that are watching right now, that I know appreciate the laugh. I know they appreciate, but it underscores the ridiculousness of it, because I find that when we get through our Substack lives, Lev, we get to a point where we start laughing because it sounds so ridiculous. It sounds, and it's all the things we always knew. Right. It is Donald Trump has a straight pipe to mainstream media dickheads like Rupert Murdoch, Fox News, the Sinclair Group, CBS, all these same people. But, like, you know, we talk about alpha males being the center of, the Trump universe, all the liver king, all these fucking losers that are like, I'm an alpha male, I'm a Trump supporter. Like, what kind of pussy, you know, literally spends days on the phone going, please stop, please stop talking about the Epstein files. Please stop talking about my guilt. Please stop helping the enemy. Please, please, please. And it goes back to the one thing that I know to be absolutely true about Donald Trump is he is such a fucking fraud, and everything around him is a house of cards, from Charlie Kirk to fucking Fox News to Tim Pool to Dinesh D'Souza to Benny Johnson, who, by the way, is still mad about the whole Epstein thing, because I think when you make it your entire identity, your personality, and your grift, right? Like a lot of these people, if Donald Trump doesn't exist, they're not making shit. They're not making any money, right? Like nothing. But it continually blows me away to see these people that have paraded around like fucking alpha males for Donald Trump for a long period of time not only capitulate to the softest man in the universe who's so fucking petty, who is literally his entire life is built around lies, that they continually capitulate. These are not alpha males. Like Charlie Kirk is not an alpha male. He is just sucking at the tit, right?
Charlie Kirk. I know you gotta understand. I know them before Charlie Kirk, when he was still, when they auditioned. They actually tried to audition my son Aaron for Charlie Kirk's position before, to be able to be that young person to go get mega. That's what Charlie Kirk was. What back in 2015. How old is he? I mean, he had to have been like when I first met him, like 19, 20 years old. Charlie Kirk was like, he was a puppy. You know what I mean? So and it was not even him. It was him and Candace Owens at the time. It was the two of them. They were the dynamic duo that were supposed to bring it out, because she brought in the black vote, female vote. He was in the young college vote. They both were young, aggressive, and now look where Candace Owens has gone. She's completely off the rails.
She's off the
Completely.
mega train. Yeah.
I mean, not only off the mega train, I think she's off the world train. But I want to say a couple of interesting things. A couple of interesting posts that people put up. One of my subscribers said, Love, Donald Trump is so scared of the list coming out because he wouldn't be able to live it down. Just think about Obama is on the Nobel Peace Prize list, and Donald Trump is on the Epstein list. Like those, those are two different things. And then the other thing I want to end it off with, I just want to say, because you can't like make it up, with the president of the United States, while we have this Epstein going on, while we have people getting dragged off the street, he's trying to do election reform. He's throwing Ukraine under the bus, making deals with Putin, fake, Iranian attacks. All of this is happening. And the president decided to put out a Truth Social post saying that he has spoken to Coca-Cola. And he has, after his conversation with Coca-Cola, he has convinced them that we are going to have sugarcane in our Coca-Cola in the United States.
No fructose for Americans.
So that would be half the problem. Just thinking about that, the president of the United States actually is dealing with something like that during all of this, the yes time. But it wouldn't be as funny as that if the Coca-Cola responded and they said, we appreciate the president's love for our product, but we have no intentions. We will definitely look into it. We will look into it. We will.
Sure. Yeah. We'll look into that for sure. It's sort of like when you tell your kids, they're like, I want a pony. And you're like, you know what? I'm going to look into that. Into getting you a pony.
No, but he just tweeted. I mean, like he laid Truth Social literally like an hour before Coca-Cola responded. Like basically, like it's a done deal. I already spoke to them. Done. Get ready. And it's so funny to watch how you see the social media, like all the whatever's left of that mega, like diehards. Even when he did that Coca-Cola tweet, they were so excited about that. They were so happy to get like he told them that he just like did away with taxes altogether or something. They were so excited that they were not listening about Epstein, but they were getting sugar and Coca-Cola in the United States. It was hilarious to watch that they were literally bringing up, said, now that's my they were literally retweeting it and saying, that's my president.
Yeah,
That's what
making
I
us
voted
healthier,
for.
one can of Coke at a time. Yeah.
That's what I voted for.
Everybody watching, listening, if you're my subscriber, please follow Lev. Please consider giving a paid follow as well, because you get access to content you don't normally get. You get story time with Lev. You get Lev remembers. You get Q&As and interactive. And you can actually, if you're a paid sub, you can also ask questions. You can comment. You can interact with us like Madeline here is, and Oaths Matter, and my friend Kat, who's in the business today. But more importantly, share this, because the more you share content where people truly are mocking him for being exactly what he is, which is legitimately a fraud, which is and the ridiculousness, the dementia. We haven't even talked about his health issues. It's cognitive. By
Monday.
the way, it's
We'll talk about that Monday, 1 o'clock
Monday.
on our show. We're going to break down, because that's important, because they already actually mentioned it, Dean. That's the prelude by talking about that he's healthy, nothing's wrong, but he does have this and this and this, but it's nothing. Don't.
So it's way fucking worse than that.
Oh, way worse. Yeah,
Yeah.
we're going to go into that Monday. Way worse.
Yeah. We'll do it on Monday on the weekend roundup, but everybody go and follow Lev. Please go and support Lev. Please go and support other truth tellers, whether it be Lev, Midas Touch, Aaron Parnes, the Parnes Perspective, whether it be Joe Walsh, whether it be any other truth tellers that have come from that side of the universe, and connect them with people, and gift subscriptions to people that are still in the cult. Make sure you send this to them. Make sure that you share this with them. Make sure you share Lev's work, because no one is doing a better job of decamping, decoding, and holding truth to power, like my dear friend, Mr. Lev Parnes, an American hero. Dude, it is so great to see you before we head out for the weekend. Thank you
I
so
love
much
you,
for
brother.
doing this. Really appreciate it.
Oh, I love you, brother. There's no other show like yours, and I tell everybody that if you don't subscribe to Dean Blundell, you're missing it all. And not only the way he tells it, but this is a man that has some real connections when it comes to Canada. And don't forget, Donald Trump wants to make Canada his 51st state. So there's a lot more coming to that. So if you haven't subscribed to Dean, you better make sure run now and do that. So there's very few people that can break it down, but you need to know all the little intricate parts of every word that's going on to be able to make your own judgment, because that's what makes freedom, democracy all about: being able to listen to what you want, hear what you want, and then be able to make your judgment without being judged by anybody else. So I love you guys. God bless you. Have a wonderful weekend. And hopefully we won't have any breaking news, and we could be able to take a little bit time off with our loved ones. But if not, we're here. We'll come out. We'll break it down, and we'll be here to give it to you all.
Dude, if anything breaks, just call me. I'll be there for you.
I will. You got it.
Talk to you soon, my friend. Take care. Lev Parnes, ladies and gentlemen. LevParnes.substack.com is where you can find Lev. He is such a fucking good human being. This space is full of charlatans. It is. It is full of people who are venture journalists. Charlie Kirk is one of them. Tim Pool absolutely is one of them. People that get paid to carry the water for legitimate criminals and pedophiles to keep you away from their own actions. Lev knows. He was in it. He saw it. He just outlined it. We've been outlining it for a long time. And that's part of the cult. Unless you have propaganda outreach, unless you have dumb people, greedy people, useless people. And listen, I've done radio, a morning show radio and morning radio in Toronto for 15 plus years. We had the number one rated show for a long time. I know what a good broadcaster, a good communicator sounds like, looks like, acts like. Charlie Kirk is none of those things. Tim Pool is none of those things. Candace Owens, none of those things. These are crisis actors, paid crisis actors. Lev is not. Lev lived it, breathed it, committed crimes for it, thinking that he was going to get the fucking Medal of Freedom for doing work for the cult, which he thought was for his country. None of those people think that way. Lev does. Lev is man enough to be able to kind of sit back and go, okay, fuck. I know what I did. Now I know what I did. But I was so consumed by it because I'm human, like we all are. Unfortunately, like Charlie Kirk, Tim Pool, and every other paid dickhead like Hannity are. And he's willing to step out and actually talk about it. He's willing to kind of show you how the fucking sausage is made in MAGA land. These podcasts, these lives, Lev Substack are incredibly important to democracy at this point. They're incredibly important to people like you to be able to because we've been wrapped up in confusion and chaos for so long, and now we have people that have been on the inside that Donald Trump has fucked over. Donald Trump is put in jail. Donald Trump has tried to effectively kill, like Lev, willing to actually step out and do it. And all you've wanted is answers. I mean, the incredible part about this Epstein thing is how it has brought everybody together in America. A lot like Donald Trump brought everybody together in Canada. That's why we dodged a bullet, is because information was readily available. We could believe what we saw, and we could make an informed decision. That is the most important thing for America today, is to be able to get people out of their echo chamber, to unite Americans behind the idea that you've all been lied to. MAGA's been lied to. Americans have been lied to for the purposes of enriching a transnational criminal fucking enterprise. Listen, I thought about this today. I was driving around, and I as I do, I think about content, and I thought, what do people in MAGA need to know? What do people in Democratic circles need to know in the United States of America? I'll tell you what it is that MAGA is nothing more than a protection racket for criminals, pedophiles, elites, dictators, and the worst fucking human beings in the world. It is a justification lobby group and service for some of the worst human beings in the world. And they've all found each other. And to be able to pierce that bubble, we have to be able to share this information with people. We got to be able to laugh at it. We got to be able to call a spade a spade. And we have to be unafraid and courageous in doing that. And that is why I love working with Lev, everybody that I podcast with, people that I talk to. I've got Thomas Lukasik, who's trying to fend off on Monday at 11 o'clock Mountain Standard Time, 1 o'clock Pacific Time, Eastern Time, trying to fend off the secession of the province of Alberta here in Canada, which is being funded and fueled by MAGA, by Donald Trump. So we're going to bring you those voices. We just need you to come with us. Paid or free, doesn't matter to me. We've got 50% off annual subscriptions right now at deanblundell.substack.com. You'll never pay more than that. You get full access to everything. Generally speaking, nothing is really ever paywalled, but obviously you get different exclusives, which is great. Like being able to communicate with Lev, being able to talk to Lev, being able to talk to Michael Cohen, being able to talk to movers and shakers, people that have come out of that space, people that have the ability to be able to change minds because they've lived that life and they know it's fraudulent. I've said it before, and I'll say it again as a Canadian. I love America. I don't love Trump's version of America. But I speak for 35 million, 40 million Canadians who can tell you that we know the difference. And we can see it from the outside. We're not wrapped in it. We have this 30,000-foot view of what's going on to you, what is happening to you, to all of you. And it kills us, which is why we go as hard as we go. Not just against fascism, not just against the cult, not just against Donald Trump, not just against pedophilia, because that's the break wall for everything else. Whether it be Russia, whether it be Israel, whether it be China, whatever. But America has this incredible opportunity in front of her. And I can see it. And I know you can see it as Americans. I know you can. Because for the first time in a very long time, people that you have been fighting against, and you want the same thing. You want the truth. You want to find out who's captured your government. You want to find out what foreign powers are trying to steal your freedom. You want to find out who's funding turning America into a police state. You want to find out which pedophiles victimize thousands of women for elites, politicians, world leaders, billionaires. And you have an opportunity to do that because you all want the same thing for the first time ever. This is an opportunity for you to gut the rot. All of you, MAGA, progressives, Democrats, Republicans, people that are like, whoa, this is fucking way beyond the pale of what we voted for. You have an opportunity in front of you that you cannot miss. You can't. Because if you don't make this your opportunity, if you don't come to the middle, if you don't find common ground with people who want the same answers that you want about the victimization of thousands of young girls by people that are currently running the United States of America, that are holding back information on behalf of a global criminal enterprise, you're not going to get better. It'll get worse. America's got an opportunity to rip the Band-Aid off, and you've got an opportunity to birth a new America, the one that the free world used to love. And I know y'all want the same things. So keep that in mind today as you head into the weekend. Thanks to Lev for joining us today. Don't forget, you can get everything Lev does, levparnes.substack.com. Please go and subscribe to Lev. He's a wonderful man, and he's just fucking killing it right now for America, for democracy. You can also go to deanblundell.substack.com. 50% off annual subscriptions. Never pay more. Super cheap. Doesn't matter. I just want you there. Free or paid, doesn't matter. I just want you there. I want you to come with us. We need to do this together. And that's the importance of independent media now. Can't believe the Wall Street Journal stepped out on Donald Trump, though. That surprised me. Have an excellent weekend, everybody. Thank you for spending time with us. It's always the most incredible part of my day is interacting with you and seeing you here. You know, thousands of you weekly that trust us with your information in your brain. We won't betray that trust. Thank you so much. Have a great weekend. Stand up for democracy wherever you see it. Thank you so much again to Lev. We'll see you on Monday, all. Bye.